Hey guys, this is the third time that I am trying to film this intro. But anyway, today's video is going to be about all of the essential items that you may need for your first snow season. And this is going to be geared more towards snowboarding because snowboarding is the superior sport. I don't make the rules, that's just how life is. Throughout this video, I am going to kind of be including some specific tips that are geared more towards any of my girls watching, because I know that when I was going out for the first season snowboarding, I didn't really find any good videos tailored towards girls because girls are special, okay? Girls have specific needs. They're delicate creatures, okay? So that I'm just letting you know, heads up, but this video is obviously for girls and guys. And that's pretty much it for the introduction. I'm gonna get right into it. The first thing that you're gonna need is a snowboard. It is completely fine to rent your gear. I'm just gonna say that right off the bat. Another thing that I'm gonna say before continuing is that you can also buy used goods online from the same websites that you would purchase your new board. They often have bundles of used items that they've refurbished and are reselling for a lower price, which is actually what I'm gonna recommend to you to do. If you're gonna keep going and you know you're gonna keep going, but you really haven't gone out yet, you might wanna do that instead of constantly paying for rentals, because you're gonna end up paying for rentals a bigger amount of money than if you would have just bought used goods that still have good value in them for a way marked down price. This is the snowboard I have. I am 5'4", and I'm gonna put the length of this board on the screen because I don't know it off the top of my head. So if you're 5'4", you're gonna wanna stay around that length, because if you get any bigger or taller of a board, it is gonna be more difficult for you. So the next thing that goes hand in hand with your board are the bindings. And this is how you strap in. This is what connects you to the board. You literally can't snowboard without this. So make sure that you get a good pair of bindings, whether you're renting or you're buying used or buying new. Especially if you don't have much experience yourself, or you don't have anyone around you in your circle who can point you in the right direction, I recommend buying things or renting things that have really good ratings and reviews online, because that's how you know that this is not going to be a product that's going to fail you. Most likely you're going to be perfectly fine using them. Of course there are always exceptions, but you know that this has been a tested product and that it has worked well for other people. What you will need to strap in to your bindings is a nice pair of snowboarding boots. 32 is a really good brand, I'll just tell you that right now. These are the Shifty Boa boots from the 2018-2019 season. So I actually bought these at the beginning of this year, 2020, and because I bought them from the previous season, they were discounted a lot and I got a really good deal on them. But they were also rated really well and had tons of good reviews. So these were a popular boot for the 2018-2019 season. They had good ratings, but I was able to buy them at a really good price because I bought them from a previous season, which is also another thing that I'm going to recommend to you guys to do, is if you are buying stuff new, try buying stuff from the previous season. You don't have to have the newest and greatest technology and products that they're just releasing. You can get stuff from previous seasons and you can save a lot of money by doing that and still get a really good product. Like, these are perfectly good. Okay, so the next thing that is extremely important, this is number one for safety. Besides having your board, bindings, and boots, this is the number one safety item, and that is the helmet. My season was cut short and ended on a bad note because I didn't have a helmet. And you could probably already tell where this is going, but the last day that I went out on my snowboarding adventures was the day after my birthday. And because I was a newbie, I obviously was falling a lot, and I ended up having to be like ski jetted or whatever down the mountain in a gurney and like lifted out, because concussions are no joke. Hitting your head is no joke, and you just want to really protect your brain. You literally could not function without this. This is the #1 vital organ aside from your heart. You really need to protect it, and concussions can cause long-lasting damage, and pretty much every time you get a concussion afterwards, you're increasing your risk for brain damage. And it's no fun. You're gonna cut your snow trips short if you hit your head and can't snowboard anymore. So I really just recommend getting a good helmet. You can rent this too, I believe, from resorts and from shops, but I just bought one because I know I'm gonna keep needing it. I'm not gonna just need it sometimes. I'm gonna need it pretty much every single time that I go. So this one is a good one. This one is from Sandbox. It's the Legend helmet. But like, no matter what, even if you're good, you should still be wearing a helmet. So you're gonna need mittens, and you're gonna need goggles. The only thing that I'm gonna say about goggles is that you wanna make sure that they have good peripheral visibility, because people are gonna be zooming past you and coming down the mountain and coming from around you and coming up on your sides. And you wanna make sure that there's nothing blocking your sight right there, because crashing into people is no fun, and getting crashed into is really no fun. And you can really piss some people off from kind of being goofy out there and not watching where you're going. So that's the main thing that I'm gonna say about goggles, but just make sure that they have really good peripheral visibility. And then the mittens are kind of self-explanatory. Just make sure that you get good ones with good waterproof rating. Your hands are probably still gonna get snow inside and get wet and cold, but this is really gonna keep them from like the frostbite levels of cold. Especially if you're beginning, you're gonna be falling on your hands and your wrists a lot. A lot of people even break their wrists from falling, because it's kind of the only way to brace yourself when you're strapped in. And if you're not wearing mittens, it's gonna hurt more, and your hands are gonna get freezing, like actually freezing. Now, getting on to the base layering, you're probably gonna want a gaiter. Sometimes I don't even wear this because it's just too much, and you might not realize it, but snowboarding out there, it's exercise. You're gonna get really hot, even if it's cold. Outside, you're gonna get really hot. I usually am even sweating by like the end of the first hour. So sometimes I don't wear this, but depending on where you're going, you're probably gonna need this just for your own like safety against the weather. This is just really important thing to have with you, even if you don't want to wear it. Now, I recommend dry fit material for your base layering. You can buy like base layering sets, but usually those are more expensive. If you have anything dry fit or anything from Nike, even, because most of their stuff is dry fit, you're gonna be perfectly fine. I didn't go out and buy base layering stuff. I just used stuff that I already had, which you probably have too, which is for girls usually leggings. So I even have used pink leggings that are like the like sporty ones, and those are perfectly fine. But these are just the Nike running leggings with dry fit. You're gonna want to make sure that they go all the way down to your ankle though if you're gonna get leggings. So I've seen even a guy wear like man leggings underneath their snow gear. So, and I suggest getting thin base layers, because it's like the worst feeling to be all like bunched and like bulgy and thick and sweaty when you're out there. So this is a top option. It's just a long sleeve. It's dry fit material. And another one that I already had, didn't have to go out and spend more money, is this like Nike quarter zip long sleeve running shirt sweater thing. One thing that I do recommend is try to find stuff that has the little thumb holes, because you can easily pull your sleeve all the way up to cover most of your hand and then put your mitten over, and that's really going to help block out any snow or ice that tries to get inside your sleeve or your mitten from falling. So that's just one tip that I have for you. Another thing that I will say is that you do not need to go buy snowboarding socks. If you have any long pair of socks or even fuzzy socks, like these are from Costco, this is perfectly fine as long as it is up to the height that your boot goes to. That's what's more important, because you don't want chafing to happen. The next thing is beanies. You probably shouldn't wear a beanie, because if you're wearing a beanie, then you're probably not wearing a helmet, and you should absolutely be wearing a helmet. So I have these two, this one and the one that I'm wearing, but I will not even be wearing these because I'm gonna keep my helmet on, and my helmet doesn't really fit over my beanie. So these are just optional, or for when you're just walking around, not actually on runs. And finally, for the outer gear, you're gonna want a really good quality pair of bibs or pants. But I will say that I recommend a pair of bibs over pants. And that's because bibs will keep the snow and the ice out when you fall. So if you have pants on, you have like all of this opening, and when you fall, which you are gonna fall, I promise, you can get snow in here. And if you could just imagine how uncomfortable and aggravating that is after 2 hours even, or even an hour of falling. But a bib, on the other hand, goes all the way up, and there's no way for snow to get in there unless for some reason you like turn into a snowball. And these ones, for all my ladies out there, I highly recommend. You don't need to go and spend $300 on a pair of Volcom bibs, because it's not worth your money. I bought these for, I don't know how much I bought these for. I'm gonna put it on the screen because I don't want to say anything incorrect, but these are from Amazon. I don't know what Boulder gear is, but they make some really good bibs, because this kept me completely warm and dry the entire season that I was out there. Like I said before, look for stuff with reviews, look for stuff with good ratings. One thing that I really recommend to you is to stay away from white. Last thing on this list, it is optional. I know that this is an essentials video, but to me it's essential. It might not be to you, which kind of goes for everything else that I mentioned. But I have a stomp pad. I actually just applied it too. Yeah, so stomp pad is really good if you're slightly uncoordinated naturally. This kind of has like a grit to it, so that when you are skating around, you kind of have somewhere to rest your foot and have it like kind of grip onto the board without actually strapping in. The last two items you may or may not care about, but because my skin gets dry so easily, I am going to recommend two different creams. I'm going to recommend the Eucerin Advanced Repair cream for your body. I don't think that you can put this on your face. This works really well for dry skin. And then for my face, I use the Pond's Dry Skin Cream, and I recommend that you use this as well for your face. I really recommend this Blistex lip balm. And then there's also a blue version of this, which is slightly different, and that one works really well too. And if you don't have either of those, you might already have Aquaphor, so that's just really good. They make lip treatment, and they make regular Aquaphor just to put on wherever. That is pretty much all I'm going to be talking about for today's video. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, go ahead and comment that down below. I can probably include it in my next video, or you can just look at the comment section for anything that I might have missed yourself. And yeah, so I'm gonna make a series out of this. In the next video, I hope to be in the snow teaching you guys and showing you guys firsthand some of the basics for hopping on your board for the first time. I hope that I could help someone out there who might be watching. Hope you guys have a really good day wherever you're at. I hope you have a great season and good luck out there on the slopes learning how to snowboard for the first time.